Okay, I know y'all were all born on the Indian land, right?
Yeah,
Do you have any memories of that?
some, some. It was a two-room house, uh, and all five of us was born there. We had a coal coal stove to heat with, and probably a coal uh, powered stove to cook with. I'm just guessing on that because we did heat with the coal. And I remember when the Indians would come, they'd come once a year to collect the rent. And Mother would always cook fresh bread whenever she knew they were coming, and they usually let us know or let Mother and Daddy know when they were coming. And Mother'd always cook bread and make them feel so welcome. That way, when they come again, they were glad to come, and they were nice people.
Their name was Walters, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Um, what do you remember about or know about where your parents went to school?
Uh, Mother, she they had a school at Wallville when she was young, and she went to school there for maybe through third or fourth grade. I'm not sure. And then they built the school at Hughes, and all of the Wallville students they transferred to the Hughes school. And Mother, uh, her and Daddy got married when Mother was in the 11th grade, and she never did graduate. But they lived there at Wallville, and they went to the little Wallville Pentecostal church. And Daddy was a Methodist, and he didn't like to go to that little Pentecostal church. But he he would bring us to Grandma Caleb's, and we would stay with her until sometimes he'd bring us on Saturdays and we'd spend the night. And then sometimes he would bring us on Sunday morning and then come back and get us, after church.
So, so the McCalebs were Pentecostals.
No, they were Methodist,
The, the McCalebs or the Highs?
both.
They were both Methodists. Okay, I
Both
thought you said they went to a
Methodist.
Pentecostal church.
Well, that's what they had at Warville. Was
Oh,
just a
okay,
Pentecostal church,
okay.
and we, Mother and Daddy, when they got married, they moved onto the Indian land in a little bitty two-room house, and then they moved a house in on Nana's the high land, and we went to school at a little place called Cottonwood, and I believe Jim and Nell was the youngest one. Marquita and Rick hadn't been born yet, but we would walk to the Cottonwood School. It was half a mile south and half a mile east of where we lived. And if the weather was really bad, Daddy would ride a horse over there and pick us girls up because we were little. And my brother, he was the oldest one of us, and he walked home with another friend. They were the same age, and when they got to the intersection, Bob would go north, and his friend would go south. And it never failed. Before one of them got to the intersection, they'd start a fist fight. Bob was so mild mannered, I can't imagine him doing it, but that's what Mother said he did.
So when did y'all start going? Did y'all all go to like Cottonwood for a little while and then go to Hughes later, or
Yeah, when Hughes consolidated, I went to the first and second grade at Cottonwood, and then when it consolidated, those that chose to went to Hughes, and those that didn't want to go to Hughes, they went to Maysville. So I spent the rest of my high school or grade school and high school there at Hughes.
so grandma and grandpa were Methodists, but y'all ended up, I guess, going to a Baptist church?
Yeah, uh, I think I was in maybe the seventh grade, and there wasn't. Mother and Daddy didn't feel comfortable going into town to the Methodist church because we wore flour sack clothes that Mother had made, and the people in town they they were fancy, and so and Mother and Daddy both helped them get started, get the little Hughes Church Baptist Church started. So that's where I was going to church whenever I graduated high school, and the church is still there.
Um, Tell me about when you'd pick up Nana on to take her on drives.
Oh, okay. She was living with Aunt Winnie in town, and they called it the sundown syndrome. And she would get real restless uh, at sundown. And Aunt Winnie would ask me, said, if you have time, would you come and drive Mama around? And I'd just drive her from Maysville at Aunt Winnie's house. I'd drive her uh, west towards uh, Lindsay, but then we'd just get off the highway then and go south, and I'd just make a circle there and go west and south and west, and then wind up back at Aunt Winnie's house.
And you said she liked to count cows.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Tommy and I, we lived at White Bead. I don't know, did you see a
Mm-hmm.
sign? Okay. We lived out there when Bill was just a baby, a little bitty boy. And Aunt Winnie would bring Nana over to our house, and she would go to Oklahoma City shopping or go off with some of her friends and just give her some time, by herself. And I looked out one day, and there was Tommy had cows then, and the cows were all down at the barn, just kind of in a herd. And I looked around, and I couldn't find Bill, and I couldn't find Nana, but I looked down there, and there both of them was, right in the middle of them. They wasn't even to one side or the other, and I walked down there, and I guess Nana was afraid I'd fuss at her, but I didn't. And she said the boy wanted to come and see the cows. And, oh, she was a darling.
Um, Tell me about Grandma Caleb.
She was precious. Uh, she lived now. Nana, uh, she had. Uh, she wasn't rich, but she did have some money. Grandmama Caleb lived on welfare her whole life. Even while she was raising all seven of her kids, she was on welfare. And there was a little store. She lived about 90 feet from a little country store. And she'd, uh, we'd go stay all night with Grandmama Caleb. And she'd walk up, or take us and go up to that little store and buy pork and beans. That's what all of us kids love, pork and beans. And she she was just delightful to be with. She asked me one day, uh, her son uh, Leslie lived there just a few feet from her, or a few, less than a quarter of a mile, pasture. And his kids were down there all the time. And she asked me one day, she said, Rose, tell me about one of the teachers there at Hughes. And said, I asked Barbara and Betty about him, but they don't like him, and I don't know if they're telling me the truth or not. But they were telling her the truth. I didn't like him either.
So, where did the music on the McCaleb side come from? Was it from Grandma McCaleb or Grandpa McCaleb? Like, where did that all come from?
Both of them. Uh, I was telling Jimmy Nell, I think, that I'd read a letter that Grandma McCaleb's sister had written to another sister. Were you in there or did you hear me?
I heard you briefly, but I didn't hear the whole thing.
One sister had written to the other sister and said, I can hear Tom coming down the mountain. They lived in the Ozarks. I can hear Tom coming down the mountain. Said he sang so good, and I really enjoy him. But I wish he wouldn't come to see Laura, because when he does, he's going to marry her and take her to Oklahoma, and we don't want her to go. And everybody loved Grandma.
What do you remember about all the uncles and their all playing music?
Every one of mother played the guitar, and she could play the black keys on a piano. But every one of the McCaleb brothers played an instrument, and several of them could play more than one instrument. I guess they took after their daddy that was coming down the mountain singing, and the whole world could hear him. But he was they were just a really talented family.
What do you remember about growing up on the farm? Like, what did Grandpa raise in crops, livestock?
Yeah.
And how did that change?
Well, Daddy was a farmer, just plain farmer. He raised cotton and corn. He didn't raise hay. He did have cattle and he raised pigs, but they he would plow the cotton and the corn and things like that. And Mother and those of us who included Joyce and me and Bob, we would take our hoe and go in behind him and hoe what the tractor had left. So we were true farm kids.
So later in life, didn't Grandpa work at the refinery in town?
Yeah, when they built the refinery in Maysville, he helped build it, but then he got different jobs in the oil field, pumper and things like that. And so after they built the refinery, well, he didn't work there anymore, but he started working in the oil field then, and he really liked it, and he made a lot more money than he had anywhere else.
When did we start doing the reunions out at the pond?
Okay, Joyce started that. They could only come up once or twice a year. It was so far, and we didn't have a building. They built a pavilion with concrete floor, and so I think they chose Labor Day weekend because that's when all the school teachers had off, and everybody but me was a school teacher there. And but the year I don't know. But that's when we started.
Tell me some memories you have of your daddy.
Oh, he was, he didn't talk. He was a very silent man. And the neighbors would come and visit, or kinfolks, anybody. But when Daddy got ready to go to bed, he just got up and went to bed. He didn't say a word. There's some people who look around and say, "Well, where's Boy?" Oh, he went to bed. And so he was just that type of man, just quiet and did his own thing and didn't cause any trouble.
Tell me some stories about your mama.
She was a character. Uh, she was the best cook in the world. And let me think of some of the good things about her. Uh, she worked at the church. The church was at Hughes, and it was about 5 miles on west where we lived. And she never missed working at Bible school. She never missed anything. And we'd once a year at Hughes. Now this was in 1950, and I remember that because Daddy had been working in the oil field and we got enough money to buy a new car. So once a summer, the whole church would pack up picnics and we'd go to supper after services and spend the rest of the day. And Daddy never complained about having to spend extra gas money or anything. And Mother, she just went along. I never heard them argue, and she never told him no. And it was just really. I'll tell you one funny thing. Uh, Daddy never did use the telephone, and him and Mother were living in Maysville, in Marquita. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Marquita was living in Maysville, and Marquita, she come to Mother and Daddy's house every day and took care of them. And she had just gone back home, and she said, Rose, the telephone rang, and it was Daddy, and he said, Marquita, get over here fast, your mama's gone crazy, and scared her to death. And she got over there, and Mother was laughing. She said, your daddy wanted so and so, and I told him no. And she had never said no to him before. So he decided Mother lost her mind because she said no.
Tell me about Winnie and Ray and just kind of how they fit in when y'all were growing up.
Okay, they were nanas. Aunt Winnie and Daddy were brother and sister, and they never had any children. And Ray, he had a good job. He made good money, and Aunt Winnie just loved every one of us kids, and Ray did too. But he wasn't, aggressive with it like Aunt Winnie was. And no matter what it was, she'd go buy us, new things. And if she couldn't find a dress or an outfit that she liked, she'd buy the material, bring it back, and Mother would make it. And they were just part of our life, and we couldn't have done without them. Aunt Winnie, after Nana moved in with her, she would bring Aunt Winnie to my house, and her and her friends would go to Oklahoma City shopping or do whatever, and Nana didn't like to do things like that. So she just stayed there with me and Tommy, and we had Bill. He was just a baby running around, and oh, she loved that little boy. She just really, Nana did, and it was just a heck of a life that God gave me to live. Good life.